Hello, I am Jessica, and today I am excited to talk about, if I can grab it there, Above and Below. And I wanted to talk about this one because this is what I consider, at least in my collection, one of the earlier sort of narrative based adventures or games. And this really opened up the genre for me. And although it's definitely not, I don't know, comparable, but it's very different from a lot of the games in the market today in the narrative realm. I really enjoy this game, and I just really quickly wanted to talk about some of those excellent elements. And yes, although this one, where's the box? Does it say it on here? Oh, they hid it on the back. It's not listed as an official solo game, but there is a very quick solo variant I found to play, and it keeps all of those elements in place. It just basically cycles through a couple of cards and the different villagers that you can train so that there's a little bit of pressure to get some of those better cards that are going to be useful. And it also kind of goes through the decks a little bit more for more variety, but otherwise it is the same. So one of the things I really like about this is your player board. We'll go over here. With your player board, it's very simple. It's got your different actions across the top that you can take. Let's try not to get so much glare. And you're kind of just moving your villagers from being, where are we here, active into they are tired and they are exhausted to they are potentially injured. And there's a way to wake them up and heal them and everything. But the other interesting part is here at the bottom. Do-do-do. And what you're doing here is actually collecting those resources, which I could have taken them out, but there are all different resources that you can find in this game. Some of them are produced, some of them you'll find when you go on an exploration underground. And the really cool part about this is you are collecting resources. You're not really generating them to go buy anything or spend them for upgrades. You're just generating them, or collecting, I just said not generating, collecting them in order to affect your income and points at the end of the game. So collecting resources early on will help get you more income. There's coins that you use, that's what you're using basically to buy other things, train more villagers. But there's also the trade-off there of getting all that income, but the really common resources are then going to be worth maybe 1 or 2 points each at the end of the game. If you hold off and start collecting some of the rarer resources and finding those and saving that and waiting to place those on your track there, you can actually get more points for those common resources. I think fish are one of the fish is one of the more common resources. So if you can hold off on placing that, because again, once it's placed, that's it. You have to keep it there for the rest of the game. And then also being able to use it on adventures. And the encounter book, just real quick, it's not thick. This is not a very, doesn't look like there's a lot in there, but there are, what are there, like 200, I want to say, yeah, there's a little over 200 paragraphs. And again, I don't want to spoil anything here, so we'll just go to a random page real quick, far away, just to show you kind of roughly how long those encounters are. They're pretty quick, just a paragraph, and there's not really an overarching story that takes place, so deciding what to do in one encounter doesn't necessarily say, okay, now this is going to affect your village for the rest of the game. It's a little bit random, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. But I like that about it. It's not necessarily a cohesive story, but also you have to decide to actually go on these encounters and send villagers. So villagers have to be used to go on these explorations, which helps clear out an empty cave, which can then hold an underground building on it or an outpost. So there's sort of an order of operations there with actually going on these adventures or exploration journeys. And then there's also buildings above ground because, again, above and below, There's the buildings above ground that can just be built if you have the resources, pretty much coins, in order to do that. But again, you have a very small pool of villagers. You start with 3 and you can continue to train more. But you also have to balance this, which is a cool mechanic, with the number of beds that are available on your buildings. So again, you'll start with 3 villagers and have a card that has 3 beds on it. So, everybody can get exhausted and then be ready for the next round. But as you add more villagers, you either have to add more beds or realize that you're not going to have everybody available every turn. So in general, you're going on these explorations out of 7 available rounds, probably. I'm usually going about 4 or 5 rounds. I'll go on 1, maybe 2. But the rest of the time is working on your village. So you really don't see a lot of those encounters. And like I said, it doesn't look like there's a lot in there, but there really is, because you're probably, absolute maximums. And again, I'm just talking solo here. You're probably I don't even see how you'd see 10 of those in a single play. And I played back to back the other day, and it was awesome. It was very different. Again, I don't want to spoil anything here because there are some kind of cool connected encounters that just kind of happen all at once. But I found the cool Moss King, who's very hard to find. There's another nice part is there's a very, very quick bit of lore on the very last page of the book, just kind of telling you who you might encounter in this world, what's going on, some of the rare encounters that you might come across. It's just really cool. And again, this probably played 30 minutes for me after I had the rules down, so probably 30 to 45 minutes to have a narrative sort of adventure game is pretty good. A lot of those that I play or that I have yet to play typically take hours to play, even solo, which not a bad thing. But if I want to have just a couple of cool encounters, build up a village, get my villagers, doing villager things in about half an hour, this is a really nice choice just to be able to build something up. And it is a beat your own score type of situation, but I don't mind that because, again, a lot of the time playing these solo games, it's not about just, what did you score at the end? Oh, I scored, 50, I scored 60. Yeah, it's nice to be able to gauge that and to have a kind of a cool goal to be yeah, what if I hit 70 points? By the way, I got 53 and 59 points. I don't know if that's good or bad yet. I got to play more. But it's more about just being able to say, this village, we had this cool thing happen where we went on that adventure. Remember that? And we actually passed, because there are dice here. You're not just going down into the ground to be able to say, oh, I cleared this cave and here's what I got. There are some decisions to make. Very light decisions, really. And I will say, I will link to the solo variant that I played. And there is also a document to use that you can use while playing solo, where it just lists out the choices, because I am prone to this. In the booklet, it has the choices, but it also has the rewards for each choice listed next to it. So it's very easy to say, oh, well, obviously I want that one because that has the best rewards. But you're actually supposed to be deciding, should I help out this stranger or should I just rob them? Actual choices in the game. And you're not supposed to know what would happen. So I will also link that document, which definitely helps with playing solo. I enjoyed this though. Interestingly, I did not play Near and Far, nor Now or Never. I have not played those. And I'm not sure why. There's nothing wrong there. I think the fact that behind me is only a fraction of the collection and only a fraction of the entire collection has been played solo probably has led me to try not to buy too many other games. I fail at that every time though. But also, Above and Below it's just a fun game. And I do say, it's not perfect. It's not going to be for everybody, but I have fond memories of playing that with my brother when we first got it. And now I have a really cool solo option to go through, have some narrative encounters, see what happens, try to explore a little bit more about this world through multiple plays a little bit. I'm just excited about it. So that is why I like Above and Below. Feel free to comment if you've played it, if you like it, share what you like about it, or if there's other games that you know of that sort of fit that quick narrative exploration type game. share those. And that is it for now. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye.